What's good, everybody? It's your boy Sean, back with 3G's Gaming. So thanks for tuning back in. I wanted to bring you guys something special, doing something new here. Wanted to talk about some pictures I got off of Instagram, and this is going and dating back to Super Smash Bros. For the 64, and we're going to go throughout the whole series and see who was considered, planned, and scrapped for each game. So with the first one, we had in the considered category Marth from Fire Emblem, planned was Mewtwo, and scrapped was Bowser and King Dedede. What are your guys' thoughts on these four characters? Marth, he's so prominent in the new series, even in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I really feel they're trying to push him as like he was in Smash since the 64 days. I'm really happy when he was intruded in Melee, and nobody knew who this character was, along with Roy. It was kind of out of the blue out here in America, at least, and I'm sure the game was super hype in Japan at the time. I didn't get into Fire Emblem until, what was it, Awakening, and that was my first Fire Emblem game, and I loved it, which is why I was jumping with joy when Chrom was released, because I wanted Chrom in Smash 4, but we'll get into that. Moving along from Marth, you have planned, which was Mewtwo, but we only got Jigglypuff and Pikachu. So could you guys have seen Mewtwo back in 64? I think that would have been cool to see him and his design, but I'm happy we got him eventually, which was in Melee. Scrapped was both Bowser and King Dedede. I really feel Bowser should have been in Super Smash Bros. The first game, but you know what? I don't hate on Sakurai for not adding him in, and I think it's pretty cool looking back at all this, and there's some history behind it all, as well as King Dedede. We just had Kirby in the series, not even Meta Knight, and for him to be scrapped as well, it's just kind of heartbreaking. But to know that the roster may have looked bigger than the 12 original characters, and maybe we would have had 14 at that point, or I'm sorry, am I counting right? There is 12 characters, so we would have had 16? Yeah, okay, I can't math sometimes. But moving along, we have Melee, the second installment of this beautiful franchise. So for the considered character slot, we have Takamaru, Ayumi, Banjo and Kazooie, James Bond, Balloon Fighter, Mach Rider, Clu Clu Land character, I believe Bubbles, right? And Excite Bike. Then planned, you have Wario, Snake, Lucas, Sonic. Intended to be cut was Ness, and that breaks my heart. So we'll go with the intended to be cut for a second. How could they scrap one of the original 12 characters? That just hurts me a little bit. And I'm not Ness, I'm not a big fan of Ness, but I know about Earthbound and I love the series for it. My cousin, that's who he mains, so I never really played a lot with Ness, but if he was to get scrapped, that would hurt a lot of us, I'm sure. So I'm happy that he wasn't cut, and eventually, we did get Lucas in Brawl, but let's move up the list then. So for planned, we had Wario, Snake, Lucas, Sonic. So Wario, I really feel like he should have been in Melee. He was very big at the time. There was Super Mario 64, and Wario was in there. I don't know if Wario had any other games. I'm sure Super Mario Tennis was already out as well. And then Snake was very popular at the time, along with Sonic. He was just coming over to that Nintendo platform and having some games. I think that's when Sonic DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was out. So those games for the GameCube were very special to all of us, I'm sure. And Lucas, I don't know if it was too soon for Lucas to be in Melee, but again, people didn't know about the Earthbound series, so that would have been pretty cool to see another Earthbound series that soon in the franchise. But moving up the list here, we have considered reps. So we had Takamaru, who, as you know, Takamaru has gotten a lot of fame over the last 4 years or so, just because Sakurai has brought up his attention with this character, and he really has a love for him as well, but we just haven't seen him as an actual playable character, and now he's already been confirmed as another assist trophy in the game. Moving along, you have Ayumi, who I'm not so sure where she is from, and in that latest leak with the Anyas and all those renders, people were speculating that Anyas, that little picture of her, was Ayumi, and they couldn't really tell until Anyas's name was pronounced by this leaker, but that's debunked already. So carrying on from her was Banjo and Kazooie, and it fits more of the bill because I want to say Rare was still with Nintendo at this time. It was only a couple years after the 64 that Melee came out, so maybe he would have had more of a chance to get in back then than it is now, but I really think his chances are high for Smash Ultimate. So carrying on, you have James Bond. GoldenEye was a big game on the 64. Fans loved it. For him to be considered is just kind of mind-blowing. So you guys can think about that for a second. I know Sakurai has said, hey, I don't want non-video game characters, but if he's a character coming from GoldenEye, I mean, he's a movie book type of character, and you know, fans are saying, hey, why can't we get Goku then, you know, if he's an anime character? It kind of goes hand in hand with that. Moving along from the Bond himself, you have Balloon Fighter, who I want to say was an Iwata original made character, and I think Balloon Fighter would be great in Smash as a retro rep, as well as both all these characters next to Balloon Fighter, Mach Rider, Bubbles, and Excitebike. I don't know, maybe Excitebike can still be left as an assist trophy, or just kind of pair up his moves with Mach Rider because he also rides on a bike and everything. But those 4 retro reps would be awesome, and that would really complete the whole Nintendo series and characters that we're looking for, because they're all Nintendo made, so it would just fit the bill, and I'm sure we all have the rights to add these characters in Ultimate without an issue. I don't know if Sakurai has thought about this as of now and for Ultimate, but it would be really cool to see some of these characters make an appearance in some sort of fashion. We've seen Excitebike as an assist trophy, but we have not seen Balloon Fighter. Maybe we've gotten a stage for him, I believe, but as an assist, Mach Rider too, and Bubbles, we haven't seen any type of representation for both of those characters, so just kind of strange, and I'm sure Sakurai is working something out for us. So let's continue on. As we move forward, we have Brawl, the 3rd installment of Super Smash Bros. So let's start up at the bottom once again. Intended to be cut, Jigglypuff. Then we have scrapped Dr. Mario, Mewtwo, Roy, Dixie Kong, Plusle and Minun, Toon Zelda, and Toon Sheik. Considered Villager, Mii Fighters, Pac-Man, Ridley, Geno, Crystal, and Blastoise. Let's start off at the bottom. Okay, so we had Jigglypuff, who was intended to be cut, and as you guys know, we got Subspace Emissary with this beautiful game, and Jigglypuff was nowhere to be seen, and I don't know why Sakurai wanted to, again, you know, erase one of the original 12s, but then came to his senses and said, hey, you know, she's been here since the beginning, why am I going to do this? Just kind of like the same way how he was thinking with Ness, I would think, but it'd be very sad to see our lovely little Jigglypuff leave us. So I'm happy he kept her, and I'm happy everyone's back now from the past. It's really awesome to see them all here. So moving up the list, you have scrapped characters, which were Dr. Mario, Mewtwo, Roy, Dixie Kong, Plusle Minun, Toon Zelda, and Toon Sheik. We'll start with them. We haven't seen another Toon character other than Toon Link, which is crazy, and I really think he needs someone else to just kind of back him up and his series. A lot of people would rather see, I believe, Tetro or maybe Toon Ganon, even like a villain, if that's what Smash Ultimate is going for. That'd be really cool. On we have Plusle and Minun, who would represent Gen 3 very nicely. I think they would work great as maybe a dual character, kind of like Ice Climbers, but honestly, I feel like they've been forgotten at this point, and we'd much rather see other Pokemon such as Gardevoir, who's from Gen 3, and maybe Sceptile. So I feel like those two are more considered than Plusle and Minun at this point. Do we really want to see a third electric type Pokemon other than maybe Zeraora from Gen 7 at this point? But that's just me. So carrying on, you have Dixie, and this is where Dixie first was supposed to come in, and yet she was cut. So she's been wanting to be added into the game since Brawl, and it just kind of hurts that she's not in yet, and we haven't got some representation of her yet, which is kind of sucky at this point. So I'm just going to carry on from Dixie Kong, and that's enough said about her. Moving on, you have Roy. So we got Roy scrapped, and we only had Marth, and then I believe Ike came into the game here, which was cool, but we missed our boy Roy, and I was hurt because I like playing with Roy over Marth and Ike. So, and now that I have my boy Crom, that's who I'm going to be going to for the Fire Emblem series, just calling it now. And moving along, we have Mewtwo, who is cut. Sadly, I don't know why they made this decision, because Mewtwo in Pokemon, he's such a well-known character and a beloved character. He's a legendary. It just doesn't make any sense that he would scrap him, but he was considered, so that's just crazy. I don't know why they couldn't work him into the game. Along with Dr. Mario, I would feel he would just be kind of like that same clone character. It could have been so easy to add both him and Roy back into the game, especially if they already had those models to go based off of both Mario and Marth. So that just doesn't make sense to me. But going up the ladder, we have considered characters. So we should have seen Villager, who I think at the time Animal Crossing already had 2 games out for the most part and was still blowing up at the time. So yeah, it makes sense for Villager to be added then, as well as the Mii fighters for the Wii. The Wii blew up with its Miis, and yeah, that would have been pretty cool to see them as well. Pac-Man was considered. Namco Bandai was not working with Sakurai at the time, and Hell Laboratory, I believe. So seeing Pac-Man to be considered just because he is a retro rep type of character would have been awesome at the time as well. Moving along from Pac-Man, you have the big bad himself, Ridley. And Ridley, he was talked of in Melee, I remember back in the day, but he was considered for Brawl, and that's crazy to think, because Sakurai thought he was so big to include that he chose not to. But to see the way he thinks, and you know, he did think of him, that's to pay homage to the Metroid series. That's pretty awesome to think of. Then you have Geno from Super Mario RPG, and he was also considered by Daddy Sakurai himself, along with Crystal from the Star Fox series, which is now an assist trophy, which saddens a lot of folks and myself, because I would have loved to see Crystal, and she'd be a different fighter with her staff and her abilities and everything else. You know, I believe Star Fox needs that 4th rep, but maybe in the next game, huh? And then you had Blastoise. In Brawl, we had Pokemon Trainer introduced to us. I don't know if they would have made maybe like a clone Pokemon Trainer, and maybe their fully evolved form Pokemon would be Blastoise and maybe Charmeleon and Bulbasaur. I don't know how they would work that, but I think that would have been pretty cool to see, in my own opinion. What do you guys think? Please, as always, share me your thoughts down below. I'm going to continue making videos like this, but we're not even done yet, so let's keep this boat moving. As we move forward, we have the considered category for Super Smash Bros. 4, Wii U, and 3DS. We had Ridley, Geno, Takamaru, and Heihachi. Planned was Chrom. Scrapped were Ice Climbers, Alf, and Chorus Kids. It says Alf was originally going to be a clone of Olimar instead of an alt, similar to what happened to Dr. Mario, Dark Pit, and Lucina. So that's a little fun fact there that they added in there. And please feel free to go and either like or subscribe, or I forget what it is, follow Diddy Kongster for you know, sharing these images with us today to talk about this. And so let's go from scrap today up the list. We have Ice Climbers, and they were scrapped due to complications and technicalities with adding them and making them work in the 3DS, which is really unfortunate because they have been in the game since Melee. They are a retro rep, and to see them disappear for an entry of the game was just really heartbreaking. Even if I didn't play with Ice Climbers, I just know it hurt a lot of fans, and I was disappointed to see them not return. But I am happy to see them all return in this Super Smash Bros. Ultimate game. So Sakurai blessed us with that, and we should all be thankful. To see Alf scrapped and made as an alt costume, I love Pikmin. I have played all the Pikmin games. I was a big fan of the first one, and my cousins were like, no, they could never add Olimar. He's not a fighter. He's too small or whatever. Same reasoning kind of with Ridley at the time, like, oh, Ridley was too big. But they were doubting my boy Olimar, and yet he made it into Brawl, no problem. But they made him super weak in Super Smash Bros. 4 Wii U and 3DS. I was super hurt, so I stopped maining him after that. But to see Alpha as a costume, I think it fit the bill, because Pikmin, as much as I want to say it's a hype series and franchise, it's really kind of underrated still, and I don't know if a lot of fans kind of gravitate to the game yet, but I know Pikmin 4 is in the works. If you guys haven't played Pikmin, you definitely have to check it out. It's very strategic in a sense that, I don't know, I believe most people would love it, and if you got a good mind, if you're intelligent in a sense, you can beat the game no problem. But I could see where it could kind of take away from the enjoyability of just this little character, and he's throwing these little doll figures that of what looks like to be dolls, but they're like plants, or it gets real, I don't know, just it's a different type of game. You really have to check it out. So please check out Pikmin if you have a chance. Could we see Alf as his own maybe Echo character, or Charlie or Louie? I would love to see him as an Echo. And maybe even bring a rock Pikmin, because we haven't seen a rock Pikmin yet, so that'd be pretty cool. Just a thought. Moving along, you have Chorus Kids, and Chorus Kids have been thought of since Smash 4. So Rhythm Heaven, I haven't played the game, but I know it's big in Japan. Could we see them finally make their appearance in Ultimate? I believe their chances are high. I want to say maybe a 75%. That's coming from me. Moving along, you have planned, which was Chrom, and we saw Chrom in the trailer for Lucina Robin, and they were fighting Captain Falcon, and Chrom said, maybe I'll get my chance another day. I really don't know why they scrapped him. I was so hurt, because I really love Chrom as a character, and you best believe I'm going to be maining him. Carrying on from our boy Chrom, we have Ridley, Geno, Takamaru, and Heihachi. So Ridley, again, this is the second time appearing that he was considered, but as we all know, he was made as a boss or a hazard in one of the stages, I want to say, right? And again, he was just too big to fit the bill this time around. But as we all know, E3 came around, and Daddy Sakurai made it possible, and we got our boy Ridley, and you can probably see his gameplay footage here, and he just looks so BA, and I can't say the rest, right? But hey, I'm happy he's here. Will we get these other considered fighters? Next, we have Geno. I really think Geno has a 99% chance at this point in time. If Sakurai himself considered him, he just has to make it. That's just me. I really hope he does. I've never played Super Mario RPG. I would love to try it sometime and really see what Geno is all about. But from his design, what Artsy Omni has drawn up of him, he just looks so cool. We got him as a Mii fighter and everything. Now it's up to Square at this point, because he is a Square character, but he's shared with Nintendo. So it's about getting that licensing right and everything to make him a playable character. And is he going to have a Mario logo or a different type of logo? I don't know how he's going to be represented. I'm sure it would have that little mushroom at the bottom of his character select screen or whatever. But I really want to see Geno happen. It needs to happen. Let me know if you guys are fans of Geno in that comment section below. Moving along, you have Takamaru, who, as we all know, again has been made into an assist trophy. I honestly feel if we get another game after Ultimate, I don't know if Daddy Sakurai will still be with us. I hope and pray that he is, but I wouldn't blame him if he's not, because he really is putting his all into this game. So I wouldn't be hurt if he left the series and someone else took over, because you know Nintendo knows this franchise is a money grab machine, and they're making so much money off of this game, which would be ridiculous just to end the series there. So I honestly feel that Takamaru would get his chance in the next game. But moving along, you have Heihachi. Heihachi from Bandai Namco. I honestly feel they'll get their second rep, maybe two more characters. A lot of people are pointing to Lloyd Irving from the Tales of Symphonia series, so they could go that route. Heihachi was considered, but Sakurai at the time didn't know how to make him his own playable character. I think just because he just kind of related to Ryu in a sense. I know Ryu is a different game entirely, but you know, they're both fighting characters, but we'll have to wait and see. But those are my predictions on the characters and just my thoughts on all these characters that we went through. So thank you again to our IG guy right here. So please go check Before I go, I really want to thank all my fellow veterans for coming back to the channel and supporting us. I owe it all to you guys, and all my new subscribers for joining us as well. All you newcomers, I really want to say thank you for being here. I woke up this morning, we were at 201 subscribers, so we hit that 200 mark, my boys. So we are moving up in this day and age, and I'm so thankful. So please, if you haven't already, super smash the like and subscribe button. I expect to see you guys all in the next one. I'm going to be pushing out these videos all the way until the game releases on the 7th, so I hope you guys can stick with me for the ride. It's going to be a lot of fun, and then I'm going to take you guys along with me for tournaments and so forth, and I really would love to see you guys. So please, as always, peace, love, and deuces up.